There we go, just a few bombs in Link's house and 50 rupees in Sanctuary. So the bombs are a real nice pickup to get from the first chest.
Yeah, they're not going to have to worry about much in Kakariko now.
Let's see, so we got one person going for the Uncle Star, two people appearing to go for the Houlihan Room, and TGH going for straight over to Kakariko.
Yeah, I know Giselle metagames her opponents, so it's not surprising that they have the same start. Oh man, GT Big Key already.
Well, that's very friendly.
As long as they don't skip a secret here.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that in Keysanity is a lot easier to end up skipping for a crazy amount of time than pretty much any other mode.
TGH sees a map on Lumberjack, so that might be some intel that we never get.
If I had to pick anything to see up there this early in a race, map is pretty high on the list of what I'd be looking for.
Yeah, Giselle and Wolfie both farming bombs in South Hyrule there. And then heading over, they're going to do the south to north Kakariko. And then Pika and TGH are going to both be coming from the north side.
And we got the Fisher-Price shield in the mushroom spot.
No progression so far. Hopefully the well and the Thief's Hut have something for us. TGH can be the first to check that.
Wolfie making use of that Houlihan money to buy some bombs, get that count up right away. We got a first sword, a compass, a small key to pod, and a cape. Sword and cape is a good chunk of the potential Aghanim combo, so that's always kind of worrisome to see right out the gate.
That's their second 300 rupee that we've seen so far, so that kind of negates the Houlihan start.
Let's see if the wall has anything a little bit more immediately useful.
Nice little fetch quest, and a hammer.
And a B-Torp in a bottle, so that's going to let us check Sick Kid while we're in Kakariko the first time. That's always a very nice thing to have happen.
Yeah, it's annoying to have to come back for that. And he's got value. He's got the mirror.
That is some pretty great value. I'm kind of curious what he was doing with that magical, artifact just chilling there.
Just staring at himself in it, contemplating the decisions he's made in his life.
Seems pretty reasonable, honestly.
So that's pretty much my favorite item. Makes routing light world locations easier in the mid game. You can kind of just go to these places in the dark world and do a quick check with the mirror. So it's always nice to have.
Yeah, having that early is a huge difference maker in terms of just how efficiently you're able to string things together instead of having to make several trips to the same area.
It'll be interesting to see if any of them hold off on Eastern Palace hoping to kind of route that in when they do pod later on, since they do have that mirror. They may not have that luxury, though, if they don't get Dark World access quick enough.
And it's always a tough decision either way, just because it is Sphere 1, it's the stuff open right at the start of the game, so progression does like to hide in there.
So TGH's already on his way to that dig location. Oh, vanilla flute!
And here I thought this was randomized. That is super troll, though, to give you the shovel in Kakariko and then make you walk back to get the flute activated.
It'd be interesting to see if anybody puts that off, because it's kind of an out-of-the-way location. And with the mirror, they might think, I'll route it in later when I do Stumpy. Looks like Wolfie's not going to fall for that, though, and he's going to go right for his flute.
Yeah, I could definitely see Giselle maybe putting it off since she did the south route, but I know Pikapals is going to do it going through the north route.
Yep. And she is skipping that. Wolfie chose this time right here when spawning at Link's house to go get that, and Giselle's going right into Hyrule Castle.
The castle is an interesting spot in Keysanity, since until you have the Hyrule Castle key, you could keylock yourself if you stole a key. You always have that, early on you've only got really one chest in the logic in the main part of Escape, other than the Uncle and Secret Passage area.
TGH making the first dam check. We got a big key.
Where's it to? It's to Desert Palace. They are actually only Titan's Mitts away from getting into Desert Palace, so that might come up sooner than later.
It's fairly interesting that they've gotten Flute and Mirror. If they do get those Titan Mitts, it's pretty hard signal to go check Desert.
And Wolfie is fluted up to Death Mountain and is going through the Dark Old Man Cave at the moment.
You know, with that mirror is going to be able to actually go up and around to get all of the Light World Death Mountain.
Nothing all that exciting in the mini Moldorm Cave, which is kind of rare in Keysanity.
I'm guessing TGH is also going to make his play at Death Mountain. It's just... Oh, he's going to go to Ice Rod Cave first, just to be thorough. But yeah, that's a lot of chests they have available with that mirror and hammer combo. Giselle finds a Turtle Rock small key.
The first of 3 required, 4 if you want to check the chest that nobody ever checks.
Ether and Ice Rod Cave. Could troll someone down the line.
Wolfie getting the extremely useless small key to Misery Mire, a dungeon you don't actually need any small keys to clear.
Yeah, having one can help you route it a little easier, but it's pretty useless. TGH actually not going to Death Mountain like I asked him to. He's gonna do his Hyrule Castle check here.
Giselle's in the process of working her way to the Dark Sewers chest that is sometimes really annoying to get to in the dark. The snakes do a lot of damage early.
Yeah, and Fighter Sword's pretty bad. It looks like every snake in there is interfering, but she did get through that room.
Got just an arrow upgrade up on the floating island, so that's not going to come back into play to make them route up to Death Mountain again.
So Pikapals following in Wolfie's footsteps. TGH kind of following in Giselle's footsteps here. So Wolfie, only one doing new things for us. Doing this long walk around Spiral Cave, and then I'll pick up an additional 7 chests in Paradox Cave.
Giselle's going to take the chance to check the first chest of Agnum's Tower. For those who aren't used to Keysanity, if you've been missing a lot of the races going on, the chests in Aga's Tower are not guaranteed to be keys in Keysanity, so checking these first couple chests is very much a worthwhile play when you have a moment.
And right after Wolfie gets out of Tower of Hera, he finds the Hera small key in Paradox Cave. It's kind of annoying. Doesn't really matter that it doesn't have a fire source. But still.
Very annoying, and yet seemingly way, way too common.
There's the glove. And the Swamp Palace small key. So Paradox Cave having some value.
That Swamp Palace small key is absolutely great to get out of the way early. The glove helps, although it doesn't unlock or it doesn't quite give them Dark World access because we still need the Moon Pearl to do so.
Yeah, because he's going to take that glove and check back of escape immediately. It's pretty much the only thing that it unlocks right now.
Yeah, logically speaking, it unlocks Zora as well, but any of the runners can get there pretty easily with fake flippers regardless.
Nothing in back of escape. So surprisingly, no one's made their way to Sahasrara's hut or to Eastern Palace. Looks like that's likely where the Moon Pearl might be laying.
Yeah, and I could see Wolfie heading there pretty soon, although it looks like he may have forgotten that he doesn't have Moon Pearl yet.
Yes.
He realized it. He realized it in time.
He's a bunny, right? Should be obvious he doesn't have the Moon Pearl. Yeah, so he went right to Death Mountain, did not do South Hyrule, so he's going to do that now.
So take a moment while people are retracing some footsteps. For those of you who don't know, Keysanity is like the regular randomizer, shuffles all your items, all your good items, progression items, junk items all around the world to all the chests, but it adds in the maps, compasses, small keys, and big keys from dungeons into that randomized pool. The maps and compasses have been given a little bit of extra features. Maps will tell you if a dungeon is a crystal or a pendant. It's your only way to know. Compasses will tell you how many item locations are in a dungeon and how many you've opened.
So TGH making the first play towards Eastern. So we'll see what's in Sasha's hut right now. And there's the Moon Pearl.
Well, at least I don't have to run to Zora. I'm kind of surprised TGH didn't talk to Sasarala to figure out where the green pendant is at.
Apparently doesn't have time for that.
It's one of those things that costs you a couple seconds, but the amount of time it can save you is generally going to outweigh that time loss.
Yeah, so with that, we know Aga is not required. We don't need the Lumberjack item, which is a map. And they have Dark World access already, so...
And Pod is our green pendant. Giselle just doing the check there. But yeah, Aghanim is 100% off the table. There's nothing left that could actually force that fight to happen.
Yeah, I think knowing Pod is Green Pennant is incredibly useful too, because it might make them use their small keys differently. They might be a little more liberal with their key use, knowing that they don't have to save one to go to the boss.
And Giselle is going to go ahead and make the play into Eastern Palace. So we got 4 more locations we can check in here if she sequence breaks the Dark Room.
Yeah, and I think, like I was saying earlier, routing Pod with Eastern is probably what TGH is counting on. That's why he did the hut and immediately bailed out, assuming that he's going to find his Dark World access on Death Mountain.
There's a nice little ice rod sitting in Eastern Palace. That's a nice find. Get that out of the way.
Yeah, it's one of the worst items in the game to be trolled by. I'd say Ice Rod and GT Big Key early is incredibly generous.
Swamp Palace Small Key as well early. That's like the 3 worst things to try to track down late in the game.
So Wolfie doing Hyrule Castle, he probably could have skipped this if he had gone towards Eastern and gotten that Moon Pearl, he'd have an advantage, but in the end he is just retracing some steps here. It's looking like TGH is going to be the first one with Dark World access.
Oh, that's a very big item to find in Eastern Palace. So now that skipping Eastern to put it off until Pod is definitely going to come back to bite some people, because those boots don't unlock much, but they speed everything up a decent chunk over bootsless versions of them.
Yeah, I wouldn't be as worried, but they have 1 Pod key, so they're probably not going to make that play towards Pod for a while. So this could give Giselle a significant advantage. I'd say it's a pretty good chance that Wolfie's going to get that Moon Pearl out of Sahasrara's hut and then go right to Dark World, rather than making that play into Eastern.
And the Bombos medallion in there too, so Eastern just has all the value.
That was 3 probably important items. Although all of them might not even be required, but they are still important.
Wolfie with the frozen guard throwing strats, the best way to kill Ball and Chain Dude.
One thing holding Giselle back is she still hasn't done that dig spot for the flute, and that's keeping her off of Death Mountain and getting her glove.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see if because of that, pushing her into Eastern, if that ends up turning into a delayed advantage, whereas it's kind of cutting back now, it might turn out to help out in the long run.
Those boots and the sword and the cape have kind of signaled her to just check Lumberjack. I mean, she can't do Aghanim yet, but she was getting the items that were kind of indicating that she might have to do it. And now might be the time she decides to do that shovel spot. Yeah.
On the bright side, Giselle is going to get to do Spiral Cave without having to do the Walk of Shame, which is really the dream we all hope for. And Pikapals is making his play to Sahasrara's hut. Already got the glove and hammer, so it'll be interesting to see if he heads into Eastern or not.
Did TGH... Did something happen to TGH? I missed it.
I also missed the specifics, but it looks from chat like he didn't have a way to flip the crystal switch, so had to leave to go get bombs to come back.
That's quite unfortunate. Walking up Death Mountain is something that generally people try to do as little as possible.
And Pikapals switched to flute and is fluting away from Sasrala's hut, so not going to be getting those boots for a while.
This doesn't surprise me. He's gonna make his way over to West Dark World. Wulfy just checking what's on Lake Hilly Island, and it was just a bomb capacity upgrade. Now making his way to Sahasrala's hut. So Pikapal is going to be our first one into Dark World.
Yeah, 21-minute Dark World entrance is not bad at all. They got a good chunk of Light World cleared. Now they have Dark World with the mirror to clear out the remainders, so very good place to be in early so far.
You're going to go ahead and check out Skull Woods first.
Skullwood's keys are another dungeon that they're useless for, but if you enter in through this drop hole, it does make routing a lot cleaner.
TGH just forgot to check a chest. I don't know if there was anything in that middle chest in Paradox Cave, but he just didn't check it.
Yeah, I don't remember what's in that specific chest. I hope it wasn't anything important.
Looking at the other trackers, I don't think it was anything. That's the second time I've seen something that bizarre, though. I was commentating a race where someone forgot to talk to the Mini Moldorm Cave NPC, and they had the TR Big Key. In this case, though, he has a visual indicator that chest was never opened, so it's pretty bizarre.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of those moments where because of missing the ability to check the chest early, it just kind of throws you that little bit off and you make those tiny mistakes for a little bit. There's a little bit of an interesting note. Both Giselle and Wulfy made the Eastern Palace play going in, are going to be both having the boots. Both Pikapals and TGH skipped Eastern and will both not have the boots. So very little difference between the two races in terms of what they have available early.
Pikapals picks up Master Sword on Bumper Cave Ledge. We'll now go over to Graveyard Ledge to see what's there.
Having to take the weird little route through the trees, through the graveyard here. And unfortunately has to miss out on the easy King's Tomb check while on the way. And there we have the big key of pod.
Yeah, he's sequence breaking this right now, so something to keep in mind. Until we find flippers, that's out of logic. Tempered Sword already on Pikapals. That was incredibly quick, and other runners might not get that for a while, so this could be an advantage for Pikapals.
Yeah, that was a super quick check of two locations that get missed for a while quite often, so it'll be interesting to see when everyone else does that North Dark World.
Oh, we're going to see what Giselle finds in that middle Paradox chest. Okay, it was only an arrow capacity upgrade that TGH missed, but still funny.
But what if he really needs those 5 more arrows?
Oh, I'm kind of hoping it happens now.
It looks like Wolfie's heading into the Dark World down by Hype Cave instead of starting in the village, so we'll be seeing that here soon. We got a bomb capacity upgrade, a blue shirt, a heart piece, another heart piece, and a book.
I'll give it a 3 out of 10. Giselle and Wolfie are pretty much synced up right now. And they've checked pretty much all the same locations, so they're pretty much neck and neck.
We get Desert Palace and Thieves Town as our 5/6 crystals to open up the Pyramid Fairy.
I think Pikapals just got a vanilla big key in Thieves Town.
That was in fact a vanilla big key, which is kind of a pain to find in Thieves Town, since without the small key, technically only one more chest is in logic.
Wow. Wolfie picks up the King of Samaria from Stumpy. The seed is accelerating out of control.
Meanwhile, in even more divergence, Giselle is routing up toward Pyramid and probably Catfish instead of going over to the west. That is a Titan's Mitt on the Pyramid.
Unbelievable.
People for a while.
So we got 2 signals to Desert Palace now. We got the book and we've got the Titan's Flute Mirror combo. Plus that big key that was picked up earlier.
And TGH making the play toward Pod with just the one small key and the big key. Probably going to do Eastern while he's here, so we'll be getting the boots. Whether he does that before or after Pod is yet to be seen.
Yeah, probably going to do Eastern first. Yeah, just in case there's a Pod key in Eastern.
And this will give him the benefit of having those boots, which could lead to sequence breaking the bow a little bit.
Catfish has nothing.
So this next chest that Pikapals checks, the one next to the maiden, is actually the only one currently in logic. So if there was any that were supposed to be progression, it's the most likely one to have it. We find our second shield of the run.
And we'll see if Wolfie goes north and east or south here. Okay, gonna do Skull Woods. Hopefully does that bumper cave and graveyard ledge check so he can get his tempered sword. Giselle having those Titan's Mitts, the first one to check the mire area.
Looks like that Bombos medallion was required for Mire.
Interesting. That was another Pod small key and the Desert small key, so they've got everything they need to finish Desert Palace.
Yep, and Giselle is immediately taking the line from those hints and heading in there. Also, we got our third or second armor upgrade on Blind when Pikapals makes his way down to Hype Cave. He'll be in red mail.
Pikapal is still the only one that's walking, so that could be a factor in this if he's walking for too long.
Oh yeah, and chat pointing out we still don't have a fire source, so we actually can't quite complete desert.
True. Just making sure they're still paying attention.
I still feel like Bombo should be able to light torches. It just explodes everything. Why do the torches not light?
That'd be sweet.
And we've also got the Blue Canyon Desert, which puts Spike Cave in the logic one now.
Ooh, a Thieves Town small key. Fortunately, Giselle has not gone to Thieves Town yet, so she'll be able to do Thieves Town in one go.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have to see if that comes back to bite Wolfie. He is making the play up north, so we'll be getting at least the Master Sword here, though.
And TGH is not going to Skull Woods. So he may be on Fighter Sword for a while. Got a big key in Checkerboard Cave. Swamp Palace.
Oh boy, the big key of Swamp. We can open one more chest now.
So that's another dungeon Giselle's going to be able to do in one go, as long as the hookshot shows up sometime. So Pikapals, I think, just picked up his cane.
And Agina was hanging on to the second Turtle Rock small key, so that puts us one away from the ability to get to the end of the dungeon.
Looks like Giselle's going to make this Western Dark World play. Pikapals is going to pick up that red mail, like you said earlier.
Red mail is one of those things where you're not going to complain if it's something that just kind of happens naturally like this, but you might be kind of bothered if you, or to go out of your way for it.
Giselle also going to Skull Woods before Thieves Town, so another of our runners likely to pick up Tempered Sword. And Pikapal is going to Pyramid, so our second runner to get Titan's Mitts.
So the advantages between those are between Giselle and Wolfie remain, but the advantages cross race are starting to kind of balance out a little bit. TGH is also going through the back of Escape immediately, also going to be missing that small key while doing so. That big chest could come to play a big part and give Giselle a huge advantage if it's got something important.
Yeah, it's a location people will put off until they absolutely have no other option.
Giselle mirror bonks and decides, let's keep going in Dark World after all.
TGH dies in blind cell. That's unfortunate.
He's going to take the time to run back there, which it's a crystal dungeon, so definitely worth going back to get, but that's a pretty large time loss. And Wolfie gets the God Pixel. That's always so satisfying to land right there and just run through that hall.
Pikapals did a mushroom check and there was a map. Elected not to pick it up.
So I'm curious if with Tempered Sword, if Pikapals is going to make that dive into Mire while he's here.
The tracker shows no medallions on Pikapals. Is that correct? It is.
Oh yeah,
correct.
He hasn't been to Eastern, so he definitely doesn't have Bombos at least. I don't recall Ice Rod Cave. That could very well have been missed as well.
TGH on blind here.
Hits the head with a hammer. That's always fun. So Gisella's probably going to be heading to Thieves Town here momentarily after checking the Village of Outcasts, and we'll see if that big chest is going to be a major instance or just something small.
Yeah, we're kind of stalled out here. And they have all of Misery Mire to check, but they might be putting it off, hoping for the big key.
And interestingly, I believe 3 of the 4 runners have the mushroom, could do fake powder as well as the mushroom turn-in, but none have done either yet.
Yes, TGH hasn't gone to Skull Woods yet, so. And Giselle, I thought, did.
Yeah, she did grab it in there. I think it might have just gotten missed on the tracker.
But yeah, we're kind of running out of locations. It's looking like Mire is going to be the location where progression will be.
And Wolfie just turned in the mushroom without doing fake powder first. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite at all. Oh, he just did the hard reset to go back to before he turned the mushroom in.
Interesting.
That's a strategy that I've seen take a lot more relevance in Keysanity than most people gave it during the open tournament. Just that way to save while getting a check out of the way as well.
TGH gonna pick up his Cane of Samari here.
It looks like Giselle might be putting off Thieves Town, waiting for that big key that's just sitting there in the dungeon waiting.
Yeah. Pikapal is finally going to get those medallion, that Bombos medallion, when he does Eastern and Pod here.
Yeah, and with that second key, I'll be able to check a little bit more in there than TGH was able to.
think that was our first Bombos tablet check, and it was nothing. Actually, Giselle might have done it earlier.
We don't get any world tour for the frog today since we have the mirror. We can just bring him directly home. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Yeah, so unless Pikapals finds something deeper in pod, I think the first player that goes to Mire is going to have the advantage.
Although now I think about it, technically Mire is a sequence break, since that Bombos Medallion was behind the Dark Room in Eastern Palace. It's a break of the lamp, which most of these runners probably don't care about, but...
That's true.
Okay, now Giselle heading into Thieves Town, so we'll be getting that vanilla big key here in just a couple moments.
And there's the lamp. So Mire's in sequence.
The best spot for the lamp, immediately before a Dark Room, and a big key to Ice Palace. And Pika exiting to the south here to set up for doing the hammer jump from the bottom of the room.
So that's nothing really in pod. Just that lamp, which, like you said, puts that Bombos into sequence and gives us true Mire access.
One other nice thing about that lamp that I didn't think about immediately, that does give us the ability to complete Desert Palace, which is our other 5/6 crystal.
That's interesting. Yeah, Fat Fairy could be holding our next progression.
Yeah, it's technically a sequence break of 1 pod key, but considering nobody uses 6 pod keys at, this level of play, you can pretty much count it as being in sequence.
TGH gonna make a ped check? Rip ped.
But what if we need those extra arrows?
Yeah, that's the second capacity upgrade that TGH has missed.
And the better boomerang in that big chest, so not going to make a huge difference, but definitely nice to have.
Yeah, it's currently the first item for stunning. I haven't seen any other, no hook shot, no other boomerang.
I think the biggest impact that could have is actually just the runners who did Thieves Town before the small key having to have that chest weigh on their heads for the rest of the run.
So Pikapals picks up his boots finally. probably thinks he's behind with getting boots that late in such an early accessible location.
Yeah, especially against someone who can hover. Getting the boots late when they were available early can definitely make you think, okay, this could be a problem.
So everyone's got that mire access now. Still waiting for someone to make that play.
Yeah, I could definitely see Pikapals going there between the fire source to get to the left side and the medallion having access to it now. It seems like it would be a good play for him.
Yeah, without the big key, that's 6 locations I think they have access to in there. Looks like TGH is going to make his way over to his master and tempered sword. Wulfy doing something that others have done quite a bit earlier. Doing Zora Domain, not going to find anything. Giselle picking up her cane. Well, that's right. TGH still needs those Titan's mitts, as the chatter points out.
Yeah, that pyramid is a very easy spot to miss.
Yeah, he had already dipped pod, too. So when that's going to get routed in, who knows?
And Pikapal's going in to finish up the Desert Palace. And a small note that Giselle got the first Aghanim's Tower key on the purple chest, which does open up one more chest in that tower. I missed that very quick map check, but it kind of looked like Eastern Palace was maybe a red pendant.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it looked like it was a accidental map pull-up, not so much an actual map check, but...
So this is our first Landmo kill here. Let's see if there's any value. No, just a crystal. So Pikapals is the first one to have that Fat Fairy access. And Giselle making the play into Mire.
Now, the unfortunate part for her is she does not have that lamp yet, so the 2 chests on the left side are still blocked off. Oh, and Wolfie's gonna do fake powder, and let's see what Magic Bat has on them.
And Pikapal's also making the Mire play.
Just some money to go away from the Magic Bat. Also, it looks like TGH is going to be the first one checking Dark Death Mountain, which is another very good option for where stuff might be hiding. As well as the ether tablet up here.
He didn't. Did he get his mitts?
Oh, nope. I forgot that he's
No.
the one who doesn't have the mitts yet.
Yeah, so he's doing Spike Cave, I guess. So we're about to find out what Pikapals gets on this left side of Mire that Giselle's not going to be able to access. Oh, TGH takes a death. So just a compass in that first chest for Pikapals, and we'll see what's in the vanilla big key location next.
Yeah, the bright side is these chests are also locked behind 3 Mire small keys, so they may just be unimportant, and that key is in GT. And Giselle gets the big key of Tower of Hera in Misery Mire, which runs us off back up Death Mountain.
Interesting. Yeah, so maybe our next progression is up here in Hera. Pikapal's about to check that vanilla big key location in Mire. So we'll see what Giselle misses out on. Oh!
Okay, that one's big. That's a big one to miss.
That's the fire rod. So everyone's got to make that play into pod so that they have a fire source to get the fire rod in Misery Mire.
That is just cruel.
Yeah. And just a Desert Palace map in Spike Cave.
That's gotta hurt after having to go up there twice to get something that doesn't really help you at all like that.
So yeah, TGH really needs to get to Pyramid for those Titans mitts.
Looks like he's at least going back to pod, which might get him that lamp.
Yeah. Oh, actually, maybe going to Pyramid.
Yeah, looks like this might be the play. The play he really needs to make right now.
I don't think he's going to be very happy.
Not at all. I can't imagine being happy after climbing Death Mountain twice to find the mitts right afterwards.
And he had to do it twice because of Paradox Cave switch too. So he's a mountain climbing veteran.
And Giselle is making her way up Tower of Hera right now. I'm surprised she didn't clear out Desert Well. Oh wait, she doesn't have the lamp yet. Yep, never mind.
And Pikapal's following. Wulfy about to pick up his Hera big key. So fortunately, Giselle is not racing Pikapals. Giselle's racing Wulfy, and Wulfy is also without a fire source. So they're both in the same position.
That's true. As interesting as this compare across the races, really. Oh, that's a hook shot.
Incredible. So they're following the logic now. It's everything's kind of falling into place. Fortunately, that hookshot. I mean, it unlocks hookshot cave, so maybe that's where we'll find our next value.
Trolldorm just hanging out right at that middle hole that you really want to stay away from, but Giselle takes him down nicely.
That was interesting that connected. For a green rupee.
At least it's a crystal.
Yeah, Giselle and Pikapals now with the hook shot. I guess the next play from here is obviously going to be Dark Death Mountain. They can get into Turtle Rock? We haven't had a Turtle Rock check yet, actually.
Nope, TGH will probably give us our first one here. Got a small key to pod in Super Bunny Cave. We'll probably hover Hookshot Cave.
Excellent. Doesn't even need the mitts to go into mire to get that air big key. Hookshot's useless. Here we go. So he forgets chests in Paradox Cave, and he's died a few times, but he's hovering like a god. It's a small key. So far, there's no value in here, though.
Yeah, I mean, technically that small key puts Mothula in logic, but I don't think anyone really cares all that much about it.
Yeah, so no value. So that hookshot doesn't lead to anything. Interesting. And I didn't
TR
see...
is Ether.
Ether. Oh, Pikapals. No. So Pikapals has to get back to Ice Rod Cave for that Ether medallion sometime. So everyone's kind of had their missteps so far.
Yeah, this seed has done a very good job of no matter which route you take, you're going to get something, but whether you get everything you need is a whole different story.
So Pikapals is missing that Ether medallion from Ice Rod Cave, and TGH is going to be missing that Fire Rod, which is lamp locked in Misery Mire. But he did pick up another pod small key, so, or at least I think he did somewhat recently. Maybe that sends him back there sometime soon.
First chest in TR is just a B-Torp.
So the two TR small keys, TGH will have to skip the vanilla big key chest, but will have access to laser bridge, so quite a few chests. Oh, no, he won't. He doesn't have the big key. Never mind. So that's a problem. We have not seen the TR big key. Maybe it's just in here.
Hey, those 40 rupees in the back of Escape are now in logic. Yay!
So Pika, you'd think Pika's winning, but Pika's doesn't have that Ether medallion, and who knows when Pika's going to go back to Ice Rod Cave.
Yep, Ice Rod Cave is one of those locations where if you don't get it right at the start, sometimes it's very, very far into the race before you get back there.
I guess TR technically can still be a pendant, and there may be no value in here. So maybe if that's the case, then Pika actually got lucky by not getting Ether.
That's true, although, especially in Keysanity, the occasions of worthless TR are very few and far between.
So TGH is going to be able to do Mimic Cave, and that's it.
TR Big Key and Mimic Cave?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, actually. Pikapal's going back into Mire. You found that big key, Misery Mire big key. I didn't see where. Must have been in Hera.
Oh, it was probably Hera basement.
Ah, yeah, because Giselle can't check that. So Mimic Cave's a bust. TGH thought he had his flippers. Doesn't, so we'll fake flipper instead.
Making the sequence break to Ice Palace, that could pay off or could just not help at all. Really is a 50-50.
Yeah, hasn't been to that deeper part of pod to pick up that Ice Palace big key either, so. Giselle finally making the play into pod?
Looks like it. So we'll be getting that lamp. Actually has one more pod key than Pikapals did, so can check either the Harmless Hellway or the Vanilla Big Key spot as well.
Pikapals is going to be the first one to go deep into Mire. We don't know if this is a crystal or a pendant, so this could be a huge waste of time. I guess the same goes for Ice Palace.
Yeah, we're very short on the information side of things. We only have pretty much the information you can get from NPCs and nothing else so far.
So, Tiara's been empty, but everyone has been skipping that vanilla big key chest. It'd be funny if it had something. They're saving keys for nothing.
I am definitely a proponent of the save and continue and then reset strats for checking that chest when you don't have big key.
And Pikapal's on Vitreous.
He's going for straight NMG strats, which are relatively quick, but does not have the health to actually get through the whole boss that way.
Has to be a little careful here. I think one hit from that eyeball will kill him.
I believe that's correct. Even with red mail, Vitreous hits real hard. Very clean face too, though. And he gets a bomb capacity upgrade for his reward. And one of our pendants.
Ooh. Well, I guess he knows, and knowing is half the battle.
So missing out on that Mire big key might actually be kind of a benefit.
So where are the flippers? I feel like that's what they need right now. I mean, they've been given swamp access, but they don't have the flippers to actually get in there. Looks like Pikapals might be... No, I was going to say going to do Mothula, because that is in logic.
Yeah, I'm guessing backside of Skull Woods or that second chest in Castle Tower seem like likely spots for him.
Buttersword for TGH.
And not in the really inconvenient to check room. And Silver Arrows.
Wow.
That's a very nice right side.
Ice Palace is just the Ganon starter pack. Giving you everything you need to kill the pig.
Doesn't really help us right now, and the sword-wise doesn't really help all that much in general. But hey, another Dark Palace small key.
Yep, hopefully that will lead him back there. Wulfy might be making the Ice Palace gamble. No. Doing Hobo. Might be doing it after Hobo, though. They're probably just guessing that Flippers is like the next progression item, but it's in a really trolly spot, and that it leads to progression in Ice Palace, possibly. So they're just kind of trying to bypass that for now.
Which isn't a bad thing to do. It can certainly help you out quite a bit if it works out well.
And it looks like Giselle's actually making that play back to Misery Mire, which is incredibly good for her. Oh, nope, got the mirror out. Oh, gonna do the desert boss fight here. Hopefully does Misery Mire after, though.
Yeah, going back into Mire for those 2 Firelock chests is a harder sell than finishing up Desert and getting the Pyramid Fairy access. Also,
Yeah.
Ice Palace is a crystal. Yay!
Oh, that's good. Good for TGH as long as that big chest doesn't have anything in it.
I believe he also skipped the iced tea room, so hopefully that won't come back to haunt him.
Yeah, at this point he's probably going to make all the gambles like that. And if this is a play into Mire without the lamp, it's going to be unfortunate for him.
Yeah, definitely by this point again, someone of Pikapals caliber, no matter who you are, the couple little missteps have you feeling a little bit behind. And you start making those plays to try to make up time anywhere you can.
Game's really trying to tell TGH to go back to pod. Just finding pod small keys all over the place. Pikapals might be doing Fat Fairy? Yes. Maybe this is where our flippers are.
I'm actually surprised he waited this long after getting that desert crystal to try to take care of this part.
Yeah. Wulfy making the play into pod, so we'll get his lamp. Giselle and Wulfy, who are against each other here, are in the same bad position of having already done Misery Mire, but couldn't do the lamp locked side, which is where the fire rod sits.
Yep, and Giselle unfortunately did flute away from Mire. We can hope they don't find the map to Misery Mire, find out it's a pendant before they get back there at least.
Yeah, and who knows if they're ever going to do Hera Basement to get the Misery Mire big key. Which they may be waiting on until before they go back to Misery Mire.
Yeah, it makes sense to wait on that if possible. And Pyramid Fairy paid out with nothing, just 3 bombs and 20 bucks.
I think they gotta kill the moth. That's kind of what it's coming down to here. That fire rod is kind of that last piece of progression that we've seen that hasn't been checked yet.
Yep, and Pika's going to check this second chest in Aga Tower, which could also be important.
Yep, TGH making the same Mire play that Giselle did and Wulfy did with no fire source. So I'd say this gives Pika a definitive advantage. But there's still that looming ether medallion problem he has, which again may or may not be a problem. And as I say, ether medallion, Pikapals is making his way to Ice Rod Cave.
So no more problem on that front. Very quick turnaround.
In fact, this is probably going to send Pikapals up to Turtle Rock, which is further away from where actual progression might be, because we know there's nothing in the first part of Turtle Rock. Although he does have the fire rod, so he can check that right side.
Yeah, that could be a difference maker, having those 2 chests on the right. This is the strangest combination of extremely friendly and extremely evil seed that I've seen in a while.
Okay, Giselle, maybe making the play back into Misery Mire.
It's looking very possible.
So this is very good for Giselle. I'm guessing, I don't know if this is, I'm not sure what she has and hasn't checked, but it's probably just she was annoyed that she couldn't check those chests in here before, so just wants to take care of it.
Yeah, anytime you've got to leave chests behind, they always just sit on your mind, bugging you over and over until you end up getting back there.
Yeah, and like a chatter points out, the Misery Mire Big Key's in a pretty bad location. So it's very possible that Giselle will be able to skip Vitreous, which we know has nothing in his appendant. Wulfy doing Ice Rod strats didn't work out too well. So we'll just use the Tempered Sword. So TGH needs to go to pod.
We'll be seeing if Pika made the right call going to TR in just a moment here.
TGH not going to pod. Giselle going to pick up the Fire Rod here soon. And Pika's going to show us what's Fire Rod locked over here in Turtle Rock.
I could definitely see Giselle taking that Fire Rod straight to Skullwoods and Mothula. Looks like Wulfy's going to make the play back into Mire as well, so this race is staying pretty close.
Yeah. Well, nothing on the right side, just some intel on Skullwoods, which actually we don't have, so it'll be interesting if that's a pendant. Maybe it'll keep Pikapals away from it.
I feel like there's few enough locations left. I don't know if you actually can avoid Skullwoods at this point, pendant or otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure what he can do after Turtle Rock here. It looks like Giselle is going to make that Skullwoods play.
Yeah, having to climb Death Mountain again for just those two Fire Rod chests is not a very good proposition, so this definitely makes the most sense as a play in her position. TGH getting a very quick butter kill on Moldorm for his $1.
Yeah. And so Giselle's going to hopefully find our next progression. This is, I think, the only place we haven't seen. TGH is slashing furiously because he's quite upset, but he will be making that play into pod.
Yep, let's look at him his lamp, and well, nothing really else. Pod was pretty empty besides that. Although he does have the big key for when he goes over to Dark Maze. I forget if anyone else has been over there and also opened that chest yet.
I don't think anyone's opened it. So Giselle and Mothula here with Tempered Sword should be fairly easy. Yep. And there's the flipper.
There they are. Right where they belong, on a weird little moth.
So it looks like now we're going to Swamp. Giselle might do Ice Palace since she didn't sequence break there. But Swamp is a crystal, and she's got the big key and the small key for it, so it makes sense if she did that first.
Yeah, either play is definitely a good choice to make. With our knowledge, Swamp is the more likely to have progression, since we know Ice doesn't have anything of value. But it's possible Swamp is empty too.
Pikapals is making the Skullwoods play as well, and so is Wulfy. So it looks like everyone is on the correct path right now, except for TGH, who's just slightly behind, having not gotten that lamp. But as long as he goes back to Mire after getting this lamp and pod, he'll be right behind him.
Yep, and it does seem that it was confirmed that Eastern Palace Pendant I saw earlier was correct. Looking at the trackers, they filled it in. So we just got Swamp, Ice, and Turtle Rock left to clear.
Actually, TGH might not be behind. Ooh, he's hovering these two right side chests that are bow locked. So we haven't seen this yet. Half magic.
It's definitely a nice find.
And a big key to TR. Wow.
Oh, that's big. That is a big find.
So as long as TGH gets the lamp out of here, goes to Mire and gets that fire rod, it's looking like TGH is going to be all set. Because I'm guessing the bow is probably in Swamp. I mean, it could be in TR too, though. So just full clearing Swamp and full clearing TR.
Well, we know it's not in TR since we've seen everything not big key locked. So yeah, it's almost certainly in Swamp.
That's true, yeah. Can't be. Cannot be. That'd be a problem with the logic if it was in the big chest.
Maybe it just expects everyone to hover. Looks like Wulfy is going to be making the Swamp play as well. Him and Giselle have been kind of right next to each other for quite some time now. The question is, where does Wulfy go next? Does he go to Swamp or does he go to Ice? Not Wulfy, Pikapals. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, Wulfy is doing Swamp. Pikapals has the same decision to make. Only $5 in the pod big chest. Yeah, since TGH is the only one to do Ice Palace, he might be pretty close to these other three.
Yeah, that big key definitely made up for a lot of those little routing decisions that didn't work out. And there's the bow in the big chest.
Wow. Is that no mode?
I believe so, yeah. I believe we know where everything we need to complete this seed is at an hour and 19 minutes.
Yeah, we've got 3 TR small keys. We've got the big key to TR. We've got everything we need to finish Swamp. We've got Ice Palace. Yeah, I think that's the bow. Yep. So we're in no mode.
Now the big question is going to be who gets back to pod another time first.
Yeah, and it looks like Pikapals and Wulfy both need a TR. Oh, I'm sorry, just Pikapals needs another TR small key. So this Wulfy Giselle race is pretty much neck and neck. Wulfy just a little bit behind Giselle. TGH electing to do Hera Basement first, which might send him to Mire. After he gets this Mire big key.
Yeah, that would definitely get him going in the right direction if he follows that little breadcrumb of the key. Unfortunately, it would also put him through Vitreous, but he's not going to take very long to clear out the back of Mire.
Yeah, unless he got the Fire Rod and just dipped out, which he may think he's behind, so that's a very possible gamble he might make.
The catch on that is I don't think I've seen TGH check his map even once, and I know he didn't talk to Sasrala earlier, so I don't know if he actually knows that Mire is a pendant by now. Very nice Argus kill by Giselle there, getting the double Fire Rod hit.
So all Giselle needs to do is Ice Palace, which is probably the next play, full clearing Ice Palace, and then going back into pod to get that TR big key, and then she'll be in go mode. And TGH is making that play back to Mire. So he will get his Fire Rod. We'll see if he decides to do the rest of Mire as well.
Yeah, this is turning out to be pretty tight all around. All of these four are going to be getting pretty close to the same point pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll know when Giselle gets out of Ice Palace about how close TGH is to the rest of them. Because he will have decided whether to do the rest of Mire or not yet, and then whether or not just to go right to Skull Woods.
Oh, it looks like maybe Giselle might end up going to pod first. I know she's going to check Hobo right now, it seems, but might hop out of the water, go check that Bollock pod right side first.
She might be holding on to the idea that she can go mode Ice Palace, which is possible if she does get that TR big key.
Yep, it would come with the disadvantage of not having silver arrows, but that doesn't make a whole lot of difference for runners of this caliber.
Yeah, she missed out on both gold sword and silvers, but not really a big deal. The time that she would save by go moding Ice Palace would make up for it.
And no, headed back to Ice Palace.
So I was commentating her only loss, and that was she got trolled by Gan's Tower Big Key being in the Ice Palace Big Chest, and Ice Palace Big Key being in the Ice Tea location, and she skipped the Ice Tea location. So I don't think she's going to be skipping any locations in Ice Palace today.
Yeah, I think everyone always says try not to let the things that cost you in races end up changing your play in the future, because sometimes that just bites you more, but it's real hard not to.
Yeah, someone in chat makes a good point. TGH is going to be able to go mode Swamp. He's going to be able to check that big chest and just go right to the back. So we'll be able to skip left side altogether. So it looks like TGH is doing the rest of Mire. And like you said, it might be because he doesn't have the intel on Mire being a pendant.
Yeah, the good thing is just doing the back of Mire doesn't take super long, and with butter and silvers, well, no, he doesn't have bow yet, so with butter, Vitreous is going to die real quick, but... Ooh, Jab mentions a good point. TGH is also missing that third TR key.
Where was that?
I want to say the one they don't have is the Agena key. I know there was one in Nagina's Cave, one in Escape, and then one in Mimic Cave. But I'm not entirely sure which one those two are missing.
And Wolfie making the pod play before ice.
Yeah, he got that Eastern Palace Big Key on the left side of Swamp, and might be going to try to wrap up Pod and Swamp back to back. That could be a huge difference maker.
Yeah, because Eastern's probably not going to have anything.
Yeah, it's just a question of, you got two pendant dungeons, assuming that he knows both of them are pendants by now. Oh, he's going Pod first, so he's going to be entering Go mode here very soon.
That's true. We'll probably elect not to do Eastern.
So assuming he recognizes this is Go mode, Wolfie has entered into a little bit of a lead. It'll depend on what Giselle does after ice, how much of a lead that becomes.
TGH not going to Skull Woods. This could be fatal.
Yeah, he got that big key for TR, so he's going back up there. But knowing that it's locked behind your bow, I feel like you might... I feel like the best play would be to go try not to use it yet. Yeah, didn't directly mention it, but Wolfie is in Go mode, whether he realizes it or not.
So Giselle not missing missing any chest and ice pellets here.
Shoutouts to those horrible, horrible Dead Rocks who were just beating on TGH for a while.
Pikapals is doing exactly what Giselle is doing, full clearing ice palace here.
Yes, I'm guessing he must be on the assumption, or not knowing that Mire is dependent, and think he might need that Mire big key still. So that part about him having a little bit of a lead from hitting Go mode first, irrelevant, because he doesn't actually realize he's in Go mode yet. He doesn't have the knowledge to make it work for him.
It's interesting that Pikapals and TGH both have only 2 TR small keys, so that might be their Go mode.
Yeah, that's very true. I wish I knew which of the three we've seen they actually missed.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one in Mire, which I don't think they missed. And then there was one in Escape, which I think they both did Hyrule Castle. So they must have missed Agnes Cave. And we still don't know where that 4th key is.
Wait, actually looking at the key count, TGH has enough to finish this right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you only need 2 past the Pokey room, or past the big key door to get to Trinex.
Well, you need 3 to do Trinex.
Well, you need 3 when entering the dungeon. There's only this key door and the 1-2 Trinex left. Although there's
Right, okay, so
key number 4.
Yeah, he did. Oh, okay. But yeah, he did have 3. The tracker was showing 2, and he actually did have 3. And now he's got 4, right?
Yeah, that should have been the 4th one for him.
Right. Okay.
And Giselle is making the play to pod, going to get that TR big key. Question is, will she know she's in go mode?
The TH looking for the bow in a place where the bow logically cannot be.
Unless he's expecting bow on Mothula, and then you have to come up here and get the flippers from Turtle Rock.
Possibly, yes. That's true. He doesn't have his flippers yet. He's living life on the edge with 1.5 heart on Laser Bridge. It'll be interesting to see if TGH goes back for that vanilla big key chest too. Probably not. But he does have the key for it. And we're going to be seeing a Trinex with 2.5 hearts. So this should be fun.
And looks like Giselle is going to go ahead and clear out Helmasaur.
Ooh. And this is where just having intel is critical in Keysanity. TGH destroys Trinex with a 0 cycle.
And in this case, with Pod being the green pen, I know she checks Srala to see what that was. So this might just be, I might still need my big key, I might as well do this while I'm here.
Yeah, and if you want to know how to do Trinex with Gold Sword, that's how you do it right there. Sprint behind the heads, and it's 3 hits with the Gold Sword on each head, and if you do it fast enough, Trinex won't launch his head at you. And that's a 0 cycle, and then getting that spin off to hit twice and then a 3rd slash and he's dead is about as fast as it can go.
It's one of the most satisfying kills to watch in this whole game.
Yeah. So now hopefully TGH makes that play over to Skullwoods, and it looks like he is. So yeah, now that I know he had those TR small keys, that play makes sense to me now. So this is all fine. So he might still be right there with Pikapals.
Yeah, Pika just needs to get back to Pod and get that TR big key. Question is how long that'll take.
So Wolfie's still putting off Ice Palace, doing TR first. But we know he could do Ice Palace and then TR and then not have to climb Death Mountain again and just walk over to Ganon's Tower. So I think you're right. He must not have the knowledge to...
Wolfie actually just finished Ice Palace, although it's not updated on the tracker yet, I believe.
More eyes.
He's got that gold sword and silver arrows. I recall watching him destroy Cold Stare, which is another very satisfying thing to watch.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Wolfie's looking like he's going to finish first here.
Yeah, he's got the lead heading up to TR, but it's not going to be very big, because that looks like Giselle is headed right there as well.
Yeah, Giselle's just a climb of Death Mountain behind him. Pikapal's going back into Pod.
Which is good, that's where his big key's at. And he finished Mire, so he should have all the information that TR is the last crystal.
So yeah, TGH just needs to finish Mothula, go mode Swamp Palace. And the bow is only for doing Ganon's Tower, so... Yeah, this is going to be incredibly close, I think, on both races. I think the bottom race is ahead of the top race, but...
Yeah, definitely the 2 on the bottom have a lead right now over the 2 on the top. Pikapals going into Eastern first is going to make this even tighter up top.
Yeah.
So reminder to those of you who tuned in later, the race on the top between TGH and Pikapals is between two 4-0 players. Winner goes to the brackets, loser enters the race off next week. The race on the bottom is do or die. The winner enters the race off, the loser is eliminated.
So TGH is doing something else in Dark World here. Oh, it looks like TGH has done Desert either. I didn't realize that.
Trying to line up a go mode swamp, it looks like, checking some of the overworld stuff left over.
Yeah, Bo, when Pod and Eastern are pendants, Bo can be in the basement of Ganon's tower, so it becomes just as trolly as the GT Big Key in that case. And I know that most players absolutely hate being in that situation. So Wulfy cleans up first part of Trinix here. Pikapals gets a map to a pendant dungeon he already knew about and another pendant. That doesn't feel good.
Now he'll exit, head into Pod, and that'll give him his go mode big key.
Yeah, TGH doesn't know it, but all he needs to do is desert and swamp. Pikapal is doing the wrong part of Pod, so it looks like giving a little bit more time for TGH to catch up. And Wulfy is the first one who will be entering Ganon's tower. Giselle finishing up Trinex will be following him up shortly.
And try to keep track a little bit of the time difference on entering the tower here. So Wulfy entered at 1:37:35. And so we have the big key already, we gotta just go straight to the gauntlet. No need to check any chests in the basement, they could not want anything else to complete this run.
Pikapals has go mode, but is finishing Pod.
That part I said earlier about this seed being like really friendly but also kind of evil at the same time, I think that still holds true.
One cycle from TGH, and as long as he makes that play to swamp right now, this is going to be an incredibly tight race.
Yep, and meanwhile, both bottom runners in the gauntlet. It was about 50-second difference between the two. So it's all going to come down to gauntlet and Ganon execution.
Giselle with that swag bow dash into the switch. I don't think I've seen that before. That was pretty nice. Giselle entering the gauntlet at the same time Wulfy exits to do Lamo 2.
Missed the 0 cycle, but turned around with a very good second cycle to knock it out.
TGH not making the swamp play. Doing Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah, at this point, putting off Swamp so long is probably giving Pikapals a pretty decided lead. Not over, but he's definitely got the lead right now.
So one cycling Lambo 2. Pikapal's getting that green pendant. Pikapals can do the pedestal. Fortunately, he knows that it's nothing.
Hopefully knows that it's nothing.
So Pika just needs to go to Turtle Rock, and apparently doesn't realize that.
Yeah, I don't believe he opened that vanilla big key chest, so he should have enough keys.
I don't remember. If he did, that's a disaster. TGH's gonna do Aghanim's Tower chests here. Wulfy finishing up Molarm 2.
Okay, he's on his way over now. Now, going into this, I expected tight races, but I didn't expect both of them to be quite this close.
Giselle finishing up Molarm 2 as Wulfy finishes off Aga 2 here shortly. So TGH is making the play to Swamp, I think. So Pikapals entering Turtle Rock for the second time. TGH will be go-moding Swamp Palace.
And the clutch full heal from Moldorm 2's chest, that was friendly of it.
And Wulfy's off to Ganon. So Giselle and Wulfy just kind of just one boss behind all the way up Ganon's tower.
Yep, as long as Wulfy doesn't fall or die, this is his race to lose.
Yeah, with Gold Sword and Silver Arrows, it's going to be a pretty outside chance. When Pikapals and TGH see Wulfy finish, they're both going to think they're way behind. Wulfy
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
And Wulfy does take a hit from a bat. He's not out of the woods yet.
He is just about to phase 4, which is usually the easiest one to not die on, but also the one where you risk falling off very easily.
Yeah, if you could try to go for doubles and triples, you can get yourself into bad situations. I do that all the time. Wulfy is into the last phase. This is a torch glitch, but it's not going to matter.
Just one more hit to go. And assuming he doesn't walk off the edge, that is GG.
Yep, GG to Wulfy.
With that, Wulfy finishes with an official SRL time of 1:44:07.
TGH grabs his bow and enters go mode. Giselle 3 silver arrows away from finishing this here. And she gets it.
Yep, that's GG for Giselle as well. It gives an official SRL time of 1:44.54, a 47-second difference between these two runners.
So TGH about to start his Argus fight as Pikapals finishes up Trinex. So TGH is going to be about a Death Mountain climb behind Pikapals.
Yeah, it is actually super similar to the situation the bottom race was on at the end there.
And we're joined by Wulfy and Giselle. GG to both of you.
Hey, thanks.
Oh, GG. I am kind of salty for one specific reason.
Was it a vanilla item location?
No, it was me finishing pod. I autopiloted. I didn't mean to do it.
right.
I'm like, this is pendant. Like, why did I do it? But I can't believe that's what cost me the race. Like,
Yeah, you were the last one to get flute. It didn't really hurt you though, but everyone else pretty much checked that location right away.
I can't believe it was that close though. Like, again, I didn't mean to finish pod. As soon as I was looking for a key, as soon as I found that key, I'm like, okay, I can like just gun it. And if like I put the whole game onto them being crystals, right? So as soon as I found that key, I'm like, okay, cool, let's go straight. Like, I can do this. And I'm just like, finish pod. I'm like, oh my goodness, like that was probably a good 3 minutes or more. Like, could have been done like 3 or whatever minutes sooner. Oh my goodness. Although to be fair, sorry if I'm rambling a lot. I'm just like, I can't believe it. Like,
Yeah, it was. I think Pikapals also did Eastern, and then did pod, and then after getting the TR big key, also finished pod. And we were like, does he just not know, or?
yeah, because I didn't know what dungeons were crystals or not, right? So I was banking everything on the fact that I could go mode dungeons and just hope and pray that's a crystal. And if it wasn't, then my race is over. But the fact that I just wasn't thinking, I'll pod, like as soon as I got that key, I'm like that's when I hit. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Like, now finish it out and hope it's all crystals. And I knew pod was a green pennant, and I just wasn't thinking.
I was really tempted to just go mode ice because if it was a crystal, then I wouldn't need anything. But I was still thinking, well, maybe I need mire big key, so I'll just look for it a bit.
Yeah, so your routing was quite different then.
It was interesting because Pikapals went into pod early and got that lamp. So I think 2 of you, I don't remember, it was Pikapals and someone else. Both, it was Pikapals and Giselle went into mire at the same time, and you weren't able to get fire rod. And Pikapals did get fire rod, so we knew that could be a problem. But Wulfy also did the same thing. So you had both gone into mire and missed out on that fire rod. But
yeah, fire source was a big limiting factor for a long time there.
Yeah, that's pretty much like the crux of the seed. This is a really good seed, in my opinion. That was actually a really, really fun one. Again, I'm just frustrated at 1 or 2 things. And my controller was giving ghost inputs too, so I might have to change it for next time I play, because an ice pause for the bomb jump. I was just standing there, and all of a sudden my character turned left, and so that first try bomb jump became a 3-try bomb jump, and just all the little things.
Yeah, the middle of the seed was kind of it didn't feel like it was giving me any good plays to make, but eventually it gave me what I needed.
Yeah, it'd be fun to rewatch. It's like the seed I felt is really straightforward, but you kind of had to make like an odd decision or 2, and then depending on how that went, it would turn the rest of it. But I'm gonna be kicking myself for that pod thing for forever, because like I must have counted like my tracker a billion times just looking. Like, all I knew is when like the bow and a key, bow and key, bow and key, and swamp. I'm like, sweet bow, just need a key. Time to go mode everything, hoping for a key or mostly everything.
So I'm a bit surprised that TGH and Pikapals aren't done yet. What are they doing?
okay, so yeah, we got TGH. Just kind of a recap. TGH is on land mode 2 here. Pikapals about to start Molorm 2. TGH didn't do, what was it? I don't remember now. He had mitts super late. He went into pod fairly early. Or actually, no, he went over to pod, mirrored to Eastern to do Eastern, and then I think left without doing pod, and then had skipped Pyramid at that time also. So, yeah, it was super late mitts for TGHs basically. And then he had some other problems. He didn't have any way to flick the switch in Paradox Cave. So had to go get bombs and then come back. Pikapals, I don't recall. There was some later game routing, I think, that he got jumbled up on.
Yeah, Pika was doing real well right in line with you guys for a while. Part of what probably killed him was he has every dungeon completed. He doesn't just have the crystals, he's got all 3 pendants too.
And there's some bullets that I'm really glad I dodged, like going back for Thieves' Big Chest, doing AGA 1, going to Hera Basement.
Yeah,
There were
Hera
a lot of
Big
slow
key.
little one-offs I could have done if the stuff I was doing didn't pay off.
TGH
Oh, you
gets
never
the
did
launch
this?
off Mulder.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see your routing because I did all of those.
Yeah, I didn't have a Thieves' small key going in.
And
Okay.
the stream is having difficulties, and we're back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, the seed gave me like every small key. I'm like, this is like the perfect Keysanity seed. You got Ganon Tower key, you got all the small keys. Like it's just the big keys and items. Like it's a
GT
really
Big
good
Key being
seed.
free is always nice.
Yeah, and just this mode is not a fan of it competitively.
So TGH is starting AGA 2 while Pikapals is starting Ganon. So unless Pikapals makes some kind of mistake here. But I'd say Pikapals is about 1 mistake away from TGH winning this race.
Yeah, it pretty much started out in the exact same situation as Giselle and Wolfie did,
Yeah.
with one starting Ganon with the other starting AGA 2.
Yeah, you guys climbed GT, and basically Wolfie did a boss fight, and then by the time you got to the next boss fight, Giselle was on that last boss fight and pretty much all the way up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty close.
Yeah. Wow, that's really wild. 150 versus 156, and then yeah, I'll have to watch and see kind of where the time got shifted around. But oh my goodness, that pod thing. As soon as I got the pennant, I'm like, well, do I check it? And I'm like, well, I wouldn't have gone for this anyway, so I'm not going to check it because Mire sort of hinged on it to begin with.
So Pikapals kills Ganon quite easily.
You missed 1 silver shot and made up for it with a double immediately afterwards.
So everyone find those silvers in the ice bounce.
Yes. And Pikapals finishes winning his race with a time of 1:53.06.
And TGH wraps up Ganon with a nice little double there.
Just out of curiosity, Giselle, what did you have left when you had to go back into Mire the second time?
Mire, I didn't have the big key, so I couldn't check the big chest or Vitreous.
Right. So
I got everything else in there.
had you fully did you have left in the rest of the world though?
I had. That's a good question. I didn't like everything.
Yeah, because we were wondering because Hera Basement was available, and that's where the Mire was, and we were thinking,
really?
We were thinking, oh, you might not go back to Mire until you finally do Hera Basement, get the Mire Big Key. And it's like, oh well, now it's time to do Mire again. But you actually went back before doing that, so that saved you some time, I guess. And then you didn't do Vitreous, obviously.
Yeah, the fire source is so late that by the time I got it, it directly opened up Desert and 2 items in Mire, and I kind of thought of going into Mire right away back then. I hesitated, and yeah, I don't know. My head's really hurting, so I'm trying to think, but I think all the adrenaline's kind of wearing off, and I'm gonna have to go pop some pills pretty soon here.
And we're joined by Pikapals and TGH. GG to both of you.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, thanks.
So that was quite an incredible race. It was interesting because Pikapals was kind of in line with the other 2 racers for a while, and then TGH was just doing everything differently for a lot of that. So, but you guys kind of came together towards the end.
Yeah, it was an interesting run for me, to say the least. I honestly can't believe I even sub-tubed that seed, to be honest with you. I felt like I played not excellent, let's just say that.
Yeah, you probably didn't realize it, but you skipped a chest in Paradox Cave.
In Paradox Cave?
Yeah, you did the 3 chests on the left first, but after checking 2 of them, you then killed the last mini Moldorm and didn't grab the 3rd chest and went to the other side and got the other 2, and then just left.
Wow, okay.
Fortunately, it was an arrow capacity upgrade, so you didn't miss anything, but I was just like, what about the last one?
I just felt kind of rusty, honestly. Like, I honestly haven't been doing as much rando lately. Been focusing on other things, but I guess it's my fault. In fact, yeah, it is definitely my fault. But yeah, I don't think things could have gone much worse near the beginning of that seed. I felt like I was on autopilot, and I was on the wrong kind of autopilot. At the start of that. But yeah.
So Pikapals, I don't know if you knew it or realized it, but did you realize that getting Fire Rod would be so big for you? Because you kind of went deep into pod before anyone else and got that lamp, and you were the only one that went into Mire and got Fire Rod that first time. Did you kind of realize that, or not really?
No, not really, actually. I kind of forgot where the lamp was when I found the Fire Rod. I just was chuckling about, oh, this Fire Rod is in exactly the wrong chest.
Yeah.
That said, I kind of wish I had taken that Fire Rod and done things with it instead of ignoring Skull Woods for, like, forever.
That's what it was. Someone had asked what had happened with you, and that's what it was. You kind of you did everything except Skull Woods to get the flippers, and that was basically all you needed to go do the rest of it. Did you finish pod by mistake?
No, I needed a Turtle Rock small key still.
Oh.
I wasn't willing to gamble on. I mean, I was willing to gamble on Turtle Rock, but I figured I was there.
So you had opened that vanilla big key chest in Turtle Rock?
No, I think I only found 3 small keys, like total.
Oh, did you skip Agony Cave? Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we were confused. But okay, that makes sense. So that TR, you needed that TR small key in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I was betting on that, okay, there's like 3 chests left on the overworld and then like 8 in Turtle Rock. Guess where the Turtle Rock small keys probably are.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so funny when I found the vanilla key in the dungeon. I'm like, because I was thinking too, I'm like, there might be an item in the middle, but nah, skip it. And then I found the vanilla key. I'm like, that's really funny. So, wait, what trip TGH up?
Everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything.
Not being able to flip the switch in Paradox Cave the first time isn't a good start to the run.
Yeah, I went up Death Mountain with 1 bomb, and I didn't even I totally realized I only had 1 bomb. I just, for whatever reason, I thought to myself, hey, 1 bomb, that's enough for Death Mountain, and it wasn't. I didn't realize I didn't have anything else at the switch with in Paradox Cave, so I just left it, and I had to come back with bombs.
Ouch. Yeah. The one saving grace about that is at least there's a shop, but you still need a bomb to get into the shop in Paradox Cave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when you went to Pod the first time, TGH, you didn't do Pyramid, and it was kind of that one location that had nothing around it, so you put it off for a long time, and that was where myths were.
Yeah.
So if it's okay, what did Wolfie do that I didn't do?
Wolfie, did you do Pod before Ice Palace?
Yeah. I think I did 3 dips into pod.
Yeah,
First
so
with 1 key, then with 3, and then another time with the bow.
Yeah, but that didn't matter because you didn't. I think I was thinking you could maybe go do the Bowlock side of Pod, get the Turok Big Key, and then go mode Ice Palace, but you didn't end up go moding Ice Palace anyway.
Yeah, because I didn't know if ice was the last crystal or not.
Yeah, I pretty much go moded, assuming that the next 3 dungeons is doing are going to be crystals. I'm like, if this doesn't work out, I'm very much screwed, but that's okay because I gotta play like it's in a tournament.
Probably should have been able to guess that ice was probably the last crystal, just because we had so many keys for it in the big key. We didn't have the Mire big key, although we could have had it.
Yeah, that and just the way the logic went. It's like Eastern and what was the other one? Mire. They just seem so far removed, at least from when I was playing. And then, of course, I never got the Mire Big Key because I didn't go to Hera. I think Hera Basement's one of the only things I didn't do in the seed.
Yeah, I think Wolfie did Left Side Swamp, and did you skip it, Giselle?
Oh yeah, I skipped Left Side Swamp.
Yeah, Wolfie got the Eastern Palace Big Key on Left Side Swamp, so that was something.
Ooh, that'd be tricky.
Yeah, and I was going to check Eastern after pod, but then I got the TR big key and figured there's a 50-50 chance I'm in go mode, so I'm just gonna assume that I kind of am.
Yeah, pretty much when I went into Swamp and got the bow, my game plan was, well, even before I got the bow, I'm like, I am looking for a big key. If I find a big key, I'm going to go to that dungeon and beat it. And if I have everything, including a big key for a dungeon, I'm just going to go mode everything and pray it's a crystal.
TGH, did you not know if Mire was a crystal or not, or were you just trying to get the bow before you decided to go into Swamp? Because it looks like you were really trying to make sure you didn't get trolled by the bow.
Yeah, I didn't really care, honestly, if Mire was a pendant or a crystal. Like, I think generally in Keysanity, I don't really care that much, unless I'm like in go mode or really close to it. I don't really want to leave any locations behind in a situation like that, so I went and fought Vitreous, like regardless.
Yeah, you didn't talk to Sahasrahla at the beginning either, so I kind of figured that you were just planning on doing any dungeon regardless.
No, I'm just not used to doing that, honestly.
Oh.
Yeah, I probably should start doing that.
I was like, nah, you didn't have time to talk to him.
No, I had things to do.
Yeah.
I had bombs to not have up Death Mountain.
I watched by a couple.
Just to miss in Paradox Cave. Apparently.
Yeah, that
It's
was funny.
unfortunate. Wow, Pikapals really went in. 164.
Yeah. We did all the dungeons. This was an all dungeons run.
What a madman.
You know, someone had
That's pretty
to
good.
pick up those pendants, right?
Yeah. You gotta go back in and get your well-deserved, I think it was an arrow capacity upgrade at the pedestal.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Not sure it
blindfold.
will be useful.
No,
that's pretty
He
awesome.
didn't blindfold.
Oh, you didn't.
No, he was in go mode by then.
Oh, pfft. I checked pedestal too. I got hit because of like blindfold.
Yeah, and Eastern and Pod was go mode except for that T-Rock small key, so you know. No point in blind pulling at that point.
Yeah. For me, bow is pseudo go mode, and then I went into pod, got the big key to Turok, and that was my go mode. Well, that was my assumed go mode, because again, I didn't know what dungeons were pendant or not. I was just banking my entire game plan on next big key going to be a crystal dungeon. And then I finished pod. I didn't mean to. I got too excited and autopiloted.
Well, one of you sequence broke to get that TR big key. I'm sure you can guess who did that.
I've been meaning to learn that too. I was doing covering earlier, so that'll be a soon to come sequence break for me. Just gotta get that rhythm right.
I was surprised it actually worked out because it hardly ever does.
Yeah, I can imagine that would have been big.
Yeah, the problem is that like with the logic in Keysanity, like I think it can really mess with you in reading the seed. Like it's definitely good in terms of pure time save, and I think it gets stronger in normal rando. But in Keysanity, I think, I don't know, it can be dangerous.
Yeah, fortunately, this was a seed where the bow could have been pretty much anywhere. So it's good that it kind of showed up and you didn't have to go looking in the Ganon's basement for it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would have been
this
fine
is-
with that,
sorry.
but as long as they got there smoothly.
This is the second seed I've had in this tournament where both Eastern and Pod were pendants, and the bow could have been in Ganon's tower.
I was just really looking forward to that Ice Armos blocked bow. That's always the best one.
All right, so I guess with that we can wrap up. Racers, do you guys have any final words or thoughts on the seed?
GG guys. That's about it for me.
Yeah, GG.
Good game.
Good job, Pikapals. Congrats on the win.
Yeah,
And
thanks. GG, good luck in the race off.
thanks, man. Jessel and Wolfie, GG's as well. Good times.
And GG's, thank you. And of course, GG to you, Mr. Wolfie.
Yep, glad it was a nice close race.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be a really fun rewatch.
All right. So
I get to go pop headed kills now.
So Pikapals moves to 5-0 and will be in the top 8. TGH and Wolfie look forward to the bloodbath battle royale for the last spot in that top 8. GG to everyone. Thanks to our trackers for this, Dragon Strike and Jixon. Thanks for your work, and thanks Mentos Man for co-commentating with me.
Thank you as well. And also the general thank you to Speed Gaming for the restreaming and all that, as well as the admins for running all of this throughout the tournament.
Anyone that needs a little bit more rando, race I believe just started on Speed Gaming, the Speed Gaming 1 channel, twitch.tv/Speed Gaming. So head on over there if you want to see some more rando. And with that, that's all for us. And good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.